Hello, it's Brian, and welcome to Street Fight. I am here to take your calls for 2 hours, as long as you call, and as long as some weird guy doesn't keep coming into the chat and fucking everything up. But I don't think that's going to happen this week. I'm being highly positive. New office is cleaned up. I got the office cleaned up, all that set up, and oh no, everybody. Okay, I've been raided. So give us a call. 654-655-3887. I am here to do a podcast for 2 hours where people call me, chat with me, we look at stuff, and I talk to the chat and stuff like that. I am your host, Murder X Brian, or Brian. I'm just Brian. Okay, I'm not Murder X Brian. What's up, Canacam? How you doing tonight? I you're sharing robot pictures. See, I don't know Twitch anymore, so I'm on here trying to be smart and do the hey, I'm calling everybody out. I'm saying all the names and all the subscriptions and whatnot, but I may not get it right every time. But I am here to take phone calls and talk about whatever's on your mind this week. I've had a crazy week this week. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show because I don't know. I didn't. I don't know when I did the show. Oh, yes, I did not talk about it on the show because it happened after I recorded the call-in show or the show last Wednesday. Um, so Tuesday I woke up and my foot was going numb. So I went on the internet and I Googled why is your foot going numb, bro? Like what's happening with the old foot? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to look that up. When I looked it up, what ended up happening was diabetes. It basically it said I think it told me I had diabetes. And that freaked me out. Canachem, 55-hour week. Don't do that. I mean, I worked the podcasting equivalent of a 55-hour week this week. A lot of hours. But anyway, my foot had pins and needles. And then I convinced myself that I had several other issues. I pee too much, which is like I'm an old man. Like old men piss. Okay. That's not a that's not like a huge fucking deal. But I had convinced myself, like, well, you're pissing too much. Uh oh, Jason, they're on hold and they can't hear the show. So I don't know if that's an issue over there. It might be something I have to do to tell you the truth. Let me fix this real quick. Uh I think I can fix this. But yeah, so I decided I was going, let's just fucking answer the phone. How about that? Hello, it's Brian. How you doing? Oh no. Okay.
Hello.
Return. They can't hear me. Okay. Give me 1 second, person that's on hold. We will get you on the line. Jason's fixing it. And I will just sit and talk to you for as long as I can, you know. And again, uh, everybody go and give me a call 614-655-3887. We got to chat. We got to have some conversation going on. We got to do we I need help. I need give and take. This is a one-man operation these days, except for there's another person doing work for me. But so anyway, back to my story. I'm going to get back to my story, okay? And yes, it is a flub. Thank you. My life's a screensaver. It is certainly a flub, but it wasn't my fault. And I'm hoping everything gets fixed here. Um, so anyway, my foot hurts. Now, I need to clarify something here. 2 days ago, 2 days ago, Friday, last Friday, like a couple days ago. I go, hey, I got to go to. Oh no, Jason's okay. Now I see stuff. Okay, so never mind. 2 days, Friday, I go, hey, I'm going to take a walk. I'm gonna go as long as I can. It's gonna be 70 fucking degrees outside. It's beautiful. It ain't gonna be 70 degrees forever. It's fucking November. So I decide I'm gonna throw on these shoes I have, these Timberlands that I bought, and I'm gonna take myself a nice long walk. When I say a long walk, I walk 20 miles. 20 miles. And my my leg was hurting. See, now I'm losing calls. Jason, are we going to be fixed here, or do I need to hang up, or what's going on? Okay. Um cuz I can fix like if there's something that I can do, I would love to help because I'm drowning. I got the chat and then I got trying to get calls in here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try and do this without getting super. Hey, you know what, everybody? If you're in the chat, tell me what do you want to look at a website because we can do that again. If you would like to look at a website, uh oh no, I got shoes now. Okay, so yeah, I bought these Timberlands and I put them on. I talked about this last. Okay, now I know I talked about it. Now I'm embarrassed that I talked about it. But I went to the doctor thinking I had diabetes, and yeah, I didn't. My doctor told me it was silly to believe that, and so I didn't. Okay, methanol cereal. Who wants to look at a website? Who wants to look at a radio, hard rock radio website? Because we'll look at a website. Somebody give me a name, and I will go. I will go. We'll kind of scroll through. I also left my weed downstairs, so I got to text my beautiful wife and ask her to bring me some weed upstairs. Um, all right. Uh, I should get a video game going on here. You know what I mean? Like maybe I got maybe a hi cockatoo quill. How are you doing? Laser 103.3 is where we're going today. It's laser 103.3 this week's. Don't worry, gas psychic gasoline. There might be time for me to do it again because I'm not able to take fucking calls right now. And that's gonna make my life a lot harder. Uh so screen, and then we go to the Chrome tab, and then I guess new tab, right? All right. And then I'm gonna go to one laser 103.3. Laser. Okay, here we go. Oh, Milwaukee. See, great place to be. Laser 103.3. The thing I'm noticing as of last week now, um, is that they all look a lot alike, right? And like cheap. Like, what kind of fucking logo is Laser 103.3 everything that rocks? Like, what kind of fucking logo is that? It looks like shit. If you go to it, it looks like a let me think of what it is. A extermination business is exactly what it looks like. If the chat agrees, you just let me know about that. But uh so their White Reaper is playing in town. I don't know who that is, but okay, here we go. Our morning radio people, Heather and Wicket of the morning radio show. And let's see, in case you missed it, they reviewed Wakanda Forever, which I wonder what they gave the review. I watched it this weekend and I don't know. I didn't like it, but it does. Thank you, Poochie D. It looks like the local air conditioner store. And this is also, according to Bleef Queen in the chat, the station that had Mancow in Des Moines. This is really fucking cool. Heather and Wicket, though, Canakim is saying they're pretty good. Wicket looks not that cool, but I'll let them slide. And since they changed this website, I'm not allowed to. I can't play audio from it, so we won't be able to hear them unless I can actually play it. Hold on. So, is he an idiot? They played. Let's look at home. All right, here's where we go. We go to listen live usually, and then block song history. Now we're going to do the song history, everybody. That's what we were looking for. That's what we like to do when we get on the local hard rock radio station website. Okay. Last song they played, So Called Life, 3 Days Grace by Explosion. I don't know that song. So uh, I got to share the tab. I'm sharing the wrong tab for fuck's sake. Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters. No, so they're literally just playing a bunch of songs that you can hear any other fucking day of the week. Chevelle, Self Destructor. Anybody see any jams they like on here? You know, American Idiot. Well, what's the newest song? The newest song that they have played on this thing is, I think, So Called Life would be it. Let me Google it. So I'm looking for the newest song. Okay. So Called Life is from 2022. Okay, so that's the newest song they played. Uh So Called Life. So should I try the phones, Jason? Can I try the phones again? Or do we not have phones? Okay. I still don't have phones yet. So, you know, what do you want to be? I so let's see here. We have song history. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Really good band. What do we got? Wrong Way, Dissident, Daylight by Shinedown, and Killing in the Name. So the last few songs they played. Let's share this tab again. So you know, we're waiting for the.
Yo,
On screen?
Hanging up, okay.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Hey, I think I'm back. I don't fucking know. I don't know how anything works. So I guess I'm just here. I don't know if I can even take calls currently. So that's a problem. I know you can hear me. You can't see me. So I don't know how that is going to work. Oh, there I am. I'm on the screen now. Okay, so I'm currently on the screen. Now, next thing. Can you hear me can somebody call in? I'll try and take this call and see what happens. Okay. Hey, hello. You're talking to Street Fight. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Okay,
Hey, can you hear me okay, Brian?
hear me, or I can't hear them. So
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm not going to be able to take calls.
Yo. Hey.
Are we fucked on calls here?
You got.
They can
Brian,
hear the
I can hear
caller,
you.
but I can't hear the caller. So is there something you can do to make it so I can hear the caller so we can do the show?
I'm still
Okay,
here
caller,
you,
just wait. I think I'll be able to do
I'm
this.
waiting.
I can't hear you, but they can hear you and they can hear me. So maybe if I return you to the queue, I'm going to return you to the queue, caller. Fucking shitterino. So embarrassing. So fucking embarrassing. I really, really apologize. Hello, it's Street Fight.
Hey.
Can I hear you now? Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Brian? Oh. Oh, fuck.
Well, this is probably really fun to listen to if thank you. It is Voicemeeter. And that is what's happening. And I don't know how to deal with this because something's happening. But I'm going to text Jason. Hear you? Yes, I can hear. You need to tell Jake that the personal power is nothing. Hey, thank you, Psychic Gasoline. I got a light. I finally bought a ring light and I cleaned up the room so that I could have it wouldn't be bad. I was very, very ready to roll here today. I was extremely prepared to do this show. But best laid plans, I guess. I don't know the actual saying. So I did, yeah. I did hear that, but yeah, but not over the phone. I think I can try it again here. Hey caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Fantastic.
I think I'm hearing you through Jason's fucking phone.
Wait, what's up?
I think I'm hearing you through Jason's speakers, not through the
Okay.
phone lines. So give me one more second here. I'm going to return you to the queue real quick, and hopefully we'll figure it
Okay.
out. And I'll get you on here, I promise. And I'll give you all the time you need. I'm going to return you to the queue. I heard him say, okay. Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can hear you. So he's good?
You can hear
Jason?
me now.
I can hear you now. Yes. That's good, Jason. Am I set, Jason?
Fantastic.
All right. Who am I talking to tonight? Actually, wait, give me 1 second because I am not going to release the beginning of this as a podcast because it's absolutely humiliating. So I'm going to return you to the queue.
No, it's not.
And then I'm going to answer the phone again. Just give me 2 seconds here.
Okay.
Jason, I need you to turn them up too. All right. Pretend like you haven't heard me melting down for the past 25 minutes. And hey, welcome to Street Fight Radio. I am your host, Murder Brian. Murder X Brian, I guess is what I'm going for right now. And I'm just going to start taking calls because the people that are listening know that I've been doing this for 20 minutes. All right. All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who am I talking to tonight?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. How are you?
Can you hear me okay? Oh, fantastic.
I can hear you. Who am I talking to?
This is, I go by Hootiel in the chat. I'm calling from Asheville, North Carolina.
One of my favorite cities that I didn't mention the other day when I was like on here randomly fucking naming cities for some reason, like a fucking idiot. So yeah, when I was naming cities on here, I didn't name Asheville, but I love that place. So you're lucky you're from there because it's probably also not 40 degrees there.
Well, two things. First, I'm not from here. I'm from Boston, so I just moved here. I've been here about 3 months. So when you said last week, I think you said the Northeast feels super authoritarian. I didn't really understand that until I left, and now I'm kind of getting it. And the second thing is it's actually 28 degrees here.
What? Eat it, motherfucker. Take that. Let me tell you what, now it's going to be the weather talk. It's 34 here. So warmer here. Eat it.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees in Boston. And everybody that I told that I moved down here about just shy of 1,000 miles south, it's been colder here for the entire fall.
What made you move to Asheville? I mean, I would move there, so it doesn't have anything to. I'm not like criticizing it, but what made you move?
I got really tired of living in the Northeast and really tired of living in cities and just kind of being under constant stress all the time. And I have a family that lives in Charlotte, so I kind of want to be close to them. And I kind of got the opportunity to work from home during the pandemic, so I just said fuck it and left.
Oh shit! I lost. Oh, okay. Hello. I was fucking with
Yeah, I'm still
settings,
here.
and I think I just fucked this up. Jason, I muted something.
I can hear you if you can hear me.
Fuck! I can't hear the caller. No, I muted you, and now I can't hear the caller because I could hear you in my ears. Hey, caller, can you talk?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, God, thank God. Okay, Jason, I can hear you breathing in my ears. That's what made me do it. All right. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I was going nuts. Okay. But so, yeah. Why did you move for work?
Well, I got the opportunity. Well, I basically gave an ultimatum that I wanted to work from home. and this is kind of the place that I chose when I gave that ultimatum.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where my wife is at. You know, we're kind of working on putting money together, and I just ate some weed on here. Okay, on here said someone get Brian a freaking bowl to smoke. I just ate a gummy, so I'll be all right. But yeah, my wife is working from home pretty much full time now, and I'm like, well, couldn't we just like literally do that from anywhere in the world? And she said, yeah, but I think she's nervous about not being able to, you know what I'm saying? Like she's nervous about if they're like, hey, come in for a meeting situation, you know? Which I guess if they know you're working away from home, but it seems like you know, it's worth it to even try it, you know?
Yeah, I'm in a weird spot because like
So what's going
I'm
on
still
this week?
qualified. Like people, what's going on this week? Sorry, I'm getting used to the delay here.
Yeah, there is a delay. But so what's up this week? What are you calling for?
So I've been a long-time listener. I've probably been listening, I don't know, since at least 2018. I saw you guys when you were in Boston, but I heard you talking about your foot being numb, and thinking about you had diabetes, and you've talked about
Yes.
you talked about anxiety a lot in the show, and I'm a fellow person with anxiety, and it's quite bad. So I kind of want to just do some anxiety talk.
Yeah. I mean, I have it pretty bad. I've had it all real bad today, too. Like, I don't know what it is today, other than like, I just kind of felt like shit. And I was like trying to force myself to take a walk. But it didn't, I tried it, and it didn't work out. I left, I got outside, and I started like I couldn't fucking like I felt like I was gonna throw up. And I think that was like anxiety. So I turned around, came in, and laid right down in my bed for an hour, and I kept doing it. So my anxiety it has crept back over the past like week or two with a fucking vengeance. Like it's been fucking nuts. But I mean, I'm still way better than I've been in a very long time after the ketamine treatments. Cause I like I said, the fucking diabetes thing was wild, because it was like I get my blood taken, and like I know where I'm at. And like the doctor was like, you just got a blood draw in April. What's going on? And I'm just like, I gotta fucking, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I guess, and yeah, Scarab's Feast says heard those ketamine treatments were off after 3 months or so. I agree. I heard they did too. I actually, but it's been a while, and it's not really all that bad. And I think I might go do the legal version of it, if that makes sense. Have you heard of that, caller?
The Spravato, or is that what it is?
Yeah. That esketamine shit is supposed to be like, it feels like it works, but like my doctor, my psychiatrist, by the way, I just had an appointment, and she seemed really fucking annoyed with me because I said I might go do like 2 or 3 ketamine treatment. And she was like, don't do that. And I was like, well, I did 6 and it worked. So she was like really irritated with me and telling me not to do it if I don't. She's telling me not to do it. So I guess I'm gonna hold off. I might do the esketamine or the Spravato though. If she won't do it, then I might just go do it myself, do a ketamine treatment again, and just do it, because I really would like it to take like less of my day. Because that's the problem with the ketamine treatment. It just eats your day. It's gone. Your day is fucking gone. And you know, I don't have time for that shit. So like, do you have panic attacks? Or do you have like panic attacks, or do you have like just generalized anxiety?
So I've probably been dealing with this since I was in high school. High school was like the first time that I went and saw either a psychiatrist or a therapist. It's like 17 or 18. I had my driver's license at the time. I'm 34 now, and it's been sort of on and off where I have like several years where I do really well. I may have already said this, but I'm 34 now, and it's sort of like, I feel like with the pandemic and work, I've had a lot of like deferred stress, and it's like the panic's creeping up back again. Like, I don't always have panic, but lately I've been having a lot of panic, and I called it because you're numb, and my arm's been numb. Just, it's an anxiety thing that happens with me, and it's been doing the same thing.
But
You
is
know,
it new?
seeing the worst
Like,
possible
is
scenarios for that.
Is the arm numbness like brand new? Like, because I let me tell you, I'll tell you a quick story, which isn't gonna, you know, we got all the time in the world, right? So back when I was 18, 19 years old, I slept wrong. And I woke up and my whole chest hurt. Well, half of my chest hurt, not my whole chest. And I had just heard on the news, maybe not even on the news. It could have been, it was like at this time, we're talking 1999, 2000, you know, and it might have even been something I heard on The Simpsons or Family Guy or some shit. But I had this thing where I thought I had heard you could get breast cancer. Men could get breast cancer. So I went ahead and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I have fucking breast cancer. I have to go to the doctor because it hurt. This is pre-internet. I went to the doctor and the doctor literally laughed at me. And that's kind of what was happening at my other appointment too, the diabetes appointment, where she was just like, dude, there isn't an amount of, because I told her I thought I ate too much candy and it gave me diabetes. So like the arm numbness I have had, and it's just a neck or back thing, isn't it?
For me, it's like more just my like right arm, but it's like, it's clearly a stress response because if I get stressed out, it happens. But if I feel calm,
it freaks you
completely gone.
Can you move it when it happens?
Oh yeah, like everything's totally normal. It's just like a weird sensation.
That's the thing though. And then when you're flipping out, right? Wait, I got to inform on here of some information. Yes, you can get diabetes from too much candy, but you cannot go from a person who doesn't have diabetes to a person with type 2 diabetes in 6 months. That's what my doctor was telling me. She was like, obviously it would be great if you didn't eat so much candy, because I do eat a lot of candy. But it's not going to happen. Like, that's not how it happens. But it's weird too, because like if I can even try to kind of guess like how you feel in a way, in that like you're like, I can move my hand. I don't get why I can move it. It can't be anything wrong. There can't be anything wrong. But like Zach H in the chat said, it could be a pinched nerve in your shoulder or neck. I mean, because that really is like, chances are if something's going numb and you're pretty young, it's a nerve thing more than anything. And you're young. 36 is young. I mean, I know they'll tell you you're old, but 36 is pretty young. And I'll bet you it's like a pinched nerve or something like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely have that stuff a lot because I'm also like a really active person. I don't do walking, but I'm a big mountain biker. So yeah, I'm constantly doing like terrible stuff to my body, and I'm always like, I'm in constant pain because like I can't stop exercising because that's like the only way I can deal
Brother.
with anxiety.
That's me too. That is me. I wish I could describe the amount of pain I'm in right now. It's fucking crazy, really. My whole back, my whole lower back, like the whole left side, my whole right side of my back is just like on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 6 pain. And then the whole other side of my back is probably an 8 pain. And then my leg and foot keep going numb. I'm like, I still gotta walk, man. I can't take a day off. And I think I'm where you're at too. It's like this idea that, like, when all of your anxiety is kind of wrapped around some kind of a health thing, then you feel like the things that you do, even if you don't do the things, like with me with walking, right? Like walking isn't hard. It's not some kind of fucking hard thing to do. And like, but like I have to do it. If I don't do it, I go a little fucking wild. And like I start to feel like, well, that's what's going to kill me is inactivity. That's why I've convinced myself that I need to walk at least 6 miles a day, is because I had heard somewhere years ago that sitting is the new smoking. So then you're like, well, I don't want to do that. So then I started convincing myself that I have to exercise, and that I have to exercise a lot every day. Like the exercise once I didn't have a real job anymore, it was like the exercise has to take up the whole part of the day that the job would have taken. And, or my anxiety just goes crazy. So I totally know where you're at with that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I've been trying to take a little time off because like I'm sore and I actually just like.
Or the delays.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost the caller, I think.
I'm definitely here if you can hear me.
I got him back. I got you back. Hello?
Oh,
I don't have him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I got him.
Okay.
I got you.
Me. Okay. Everything's fine. You're doing great. It's I don't know. Technology sucks.
You're telling me. You are fucking telling me. But Psychic Gasoline in chat goes, overuse of the same muscles and joints is not good. And I will tell you the truth. I know that. And that's probably why I'm extremely fucking sore. And like, yeah, Forever Since Breakfast says I was worried about a weird arm pain, but then my wife got breast cancer and that kind of made me forget about the arm pain. I mean, that's weird too, right? Is like that like I don't think it's said enough that the pain, like we're never told that anxiety can result in pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like, I don't know, I first started diving into this, like, I don't know, it was like the 2000s when I was in high school, and I was kind of like, there's something fucking wrong with me, like with anxiety, and like, anxiety wasn't even like a consideration, I don't think back then, but I was just like convinced that I had like severe depression or something, and it really wasn't until like I was like 30 years old that I saw a psychiatrist. They're like, oh, that sounds like anxiety, and I'm like, anxiety? What even is that? So like, it's sort of it's a new avenue to explore.
No, but oh, sorry, but like so many people, I don't think that, I really never thought that anxiety could cause pain. I find that to be incredible, that like it could do something that nobody will ever tell you. That it could do something that nobody will ever tell you it could cause. So also Psychic Gasoline says that for anyone looking for a therapist, find one that practices EMDR. So I think that's the electric stuff. So well, I want to thank you for calling and putting up with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Big fan of the
Thank you
show.
for
So like,
testing.
whether you're flubbing or not.
It's
Oh, what's
okay.
up?
I am Flub McGee. The last 2 shows that have released have been incredibly flubby. So I know. But this one's not my fault. This one's actually not my fault. I did everything I was supposed to do. It just didn't work. All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem. Take it easy.
Peace. All right. Next call. Next call. Next call. Next call. All right. Thank you for calling. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Brian, sound like $1 million, buddy.
Thank you. You sound like $1 million too. How are you?
I wasn't sure if I was coming through. I got new Bluetooth headphones. I didn't know if they were working. I'm doing good, man. I'm actually.
It's a little hard to
dishwashing
hear
job,
you.
right?
A little bit, but I mean, I can make it through if this is what we got.
Okay. How am I sounding now?
It's okay.
Any
What's
better?
going on tonight? Who am I talking to?
Okay, this is Sasha calling from Chicago. I'm at my dishwashing job. There's a lot of commotion back here, so I might not be able to stay on long because of the sound quality.
That's okay. That's fine. But so what's going on?
Oh, not much.
I
I'm
want
going
you
down
to say what you
the
said. Well, hold on, Sasha. I want you to say what you said when the thing asks you why you were calling.
When what asked me why I'm calling?
Oh shit. Okay, so you called another time. And it had an auto screen. And I thought that's what you were calling for. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
years ago, so it's probably still in there. Anyway, I don't
It's
got
funny,
nothing
it
to do with
says-
anything.
it says this is Sasha calling from Chicago. I'm calling because I'm the #1 Man Cows Morning Madhouse fan. So everybody,
Oh, that's
Sasha's
right.
a Man
You were
Cow
doing.
fan,
Oh, yeah, since back in '96, '97. That's when you were doing the stream with Chris like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start doing more of those soon. More
Hell yeah.
streaming.
Man,
Yeah. So what's up, Sasha?
Man Cows fine. Yeah, football. Hey, anyway, Brian, I
What's
got to
up,
get
Sasha?
off the phone. I wanted to ask you. I'm going to the used car lot tomorrow. I want to know if you had any tips or advice for dealing with the people down at the car lot, or maybe if you just have any stories yourself.
Okay. I'm going to tell you that you're asking the worst person on the planet for this kind of information because I have never gotten a car payment less than the one I just paid. But I don't think you get that anyway. I don't think anybody gets that. Seems impossible. Your car payment's going to go up. You just got to see if you can get it to go up like $20 instead of $100. But so like the thing I do when I go in, and I don't know if this is ever going to if this works for other people, and I'll listen in on the chat while I'm at it too. But I don't know if this has ever worked, but you go in and you look like a grumpy dad or grumpy, whatever you look like, really grumpy mom. I think if you go in and you look grumpy, like the dads that you used to be afraid of when you were a kid, right? Like when you're a kid and you're afraid of one of the kids' dads because they're being loud as shit, or you're being loud at their meal at their house when you're staying the night or something. Give that vibe up. Give the I'm an angry dad, I'm mean, I'm not putting up with any shit, and then say this: I'm only looking to pay this month this much. And I think that works. It kind of worked for me because, like, okay, so my Kia which by the way, Zach H has a Kia and says it's been having an issue with burning oil. If it's a Kia Soul, that's what mine did before it died. But I went in and I said, I pay $335. I think it was like $335 a month for this Kia. And I'm like, okay. They're like, okay. And I'm like, I don't want to pay more than that. And then I let my wife talk to the guy while I walked around looking like a mean dad, like having that like grumpy dad look. So then I did end up paying more. I did end up paying $30 more a month, but I think I got a way better car and I got it for a little bit cheaper because the guy that was the salesperson didn't want to fucking deal with a grumpy dad, which is, I think everybody's sort of afraid of a grumpy dad anyway. We're all like sort of conditioned to be afraid of that. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't be mean to somebody, but I would be a total fucking sort of prick. Like the look, don't like yell at people, but give them the look. Like I'm not, I ain't about to fucking pay more. So you're trying to make me happy, not the other way around, sir.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys are just, you don't get into the job unless you're a little bit scummy, and you don't last long unless you're a total piece of shit. So, as far as I'm concerned,
that's exactly why you have to give them that look of like, I'm fucking not putting up with any shit. I'll walk right out of here. And it's not like a mean thing. It's not like you like have to yell at anybody or anything like that. But like there is this like sort of look, years ago when we would go on tour, we would go to the rental car place and there would always be some issue with the credit card. I don't know what the issues were. I wasn't the person dealing with it. It was usually Brett standing up at the thing and we'd always be dealing with it. And the way that we would handle it is if they started giving Brett a hassle, I would come in the building instead of standing out and smoking. I would come in the building and I would pace back and forth in the room. And then I'd like pull Brett aside and be like, what the fuck's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Has somebody got anything? What's going on? Like loud, but I wouldn't say it to anybody and I wouldn't yell at anybody. And then he would go back up to the counter and be like, is there any way we can fix this? And, I didn't say a word to the people, but I think the way he would act, he would go up there and put on a fucking act like, man, you just got to help this guy out because he's nuts. I can hold him back for you, but can't deal with it. But I think you just have to like be able to like, you have to be willing to leave and go to a different place. Are you going to a buy here, pay here, Sasha?
No. I'm looking for a no money down type of thing. I'm kind of in a bind where I've got bad credit and I need a car quick. But I'm trying to go there and not really let them know quite how desperate I am.
Well, they're going to give you a car. Just don't let them get you. But hey, thanks for calling, Sasha. We got to get to the next call because there's background noise that I can't hear. But I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, buddy.
I don't know what all the background. I don't know if you guys can hear Jason. Oh, okay. Because it sounds like because I can hear you perfectly. But if they can't hear you, whatever. I'll deal with that. Let's take another call. Very stupid. Hey, you're talking to Brian. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Brian. You're talking to Grayson from Orange County, California, also known as Fixer Punk in the chat. Thank you for taking my call tonight.
What's up, Grayson? How you doing tonight?
I am doing pretty well. My job, which was doing communications work, basically as an independent contractor under my own business for a DC-based think tank, ended at the end of October. And thankfully, I've saved up an okay amount of money, and I can take some time off, which I was really, really looking forward to. Because unfortunately, even though the job wasn't intense at all, it was probably one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life. Just for some reason, my autism and all my other mental problems were just reeling their ugly head, and I keep being told I needed to rest from it. However, now we're hearing all this nonsense about recession coming, hiring freezes, inflation, somewhat equivocal news in terms of Congress. Obviously, they're happy that the Senate held to Democrats. And I was going to basically take it that like for the next like couple months, I kind of set my date to being like after like mid-January, because I have tickets to go to AEW in January here in LA. Then after then, I would be returning to whatever place in the workforce I could find it, whether it be politics related, because everything aside from that runoff, the way I see it is that everything related to politics or public policy is going to be kind of on a freeze for the rest of the year because all the money got run out. I really don't know enough about the money side of the business to know that. But what I'm coming to realize now is that as the economy is basically coming and crashing down and you keep hearing more and more hiring freezes, and looking around at people around me and what they're saying, it's almost like I have to go back and try to find a job as quickly as possible. And most of like the typical options that are out there just seem terribly unappealing to me. And it's like either I try to get myself at the very, very entry level of the corporate world because my experience is so kind of specialized and my degrees in political science, so I'm kind of specialized in political communications. So I'd be considered, even with like over 10 years of work experience, like basically like an entry level employee. And it's still going to be extremely hard to find like anything that's remotely corporate. Or I go and I wind up going and trying to find some temporary retail or fast food job or something like that, which sounds obviously very, very soul sucking and terrible, but at least then I'd have a little bit more time on the off hours to pursue my own thing and still use up some of the money that I have. Because there's no way, or at least not that I see, not until maybe stuff starts coming back up on the political end through my connections, I'd be able to get like another part-time remote job like I had when I was working for the think tank. And I just wanted to kind of, number one, calling in to rant. There is a point that I think is salient here for Street Fight, which is I feel like a lot of people are feeling the same way that I am with first the tech ones, and now we're hearing Disney, which I'm in Orange County, specifically Disneyland's a huge employer here, announcing these hiring freezes. I almost feel like part of it is, and the way that this whole inflation's been set up with corporate greed, is to try to force people that will be like myself thinking, okay, I have some time that I can take off and I can try to build my own thing, keep my own business running and do my own thing separately, trying to push them back, this narrative and everything that's going around the economy. And I'm going to call it a capital strike. I don't know if that's the correct technical term for it, but the way things are being handled with inflation and interest rates makes me believe that what's going on is less of an economic crisis and more of a capital strike, of capital saying, we're not taking this anymore from workers having these gains. And they want you to run back, even if you're overqualified, if you can do something different. They want you to run back to the same old crappy job that you have before. And that, obviously, that's emotionally traumatizing for me specifically because of my autism and God knows whatever else is going wrong in my mind. And the fact that I'm probably going to, and that's my big fear, is that I'm going to force myself into a job and I'm going to get myself fired because of my autism.
Well, but let me say this. Can I say this, Grayson? I mean, getting fired isn't the absolute worst thing. And I will also say this, and leftist underscore landlord in the chat said, you'll be able to find a job, just enjoy your life. Like, don't let, here's what I think, because I have been in sort of, I've had this sort of thing in the past where like I thought, well, I mean, when I was in college, I thought I was going to come out of college and have to do something else. I didn't think I was going to be able to do. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this. So I drove for Lyft and I did all this stuff. And it's like, there isn't some like they are going to hire people. They need people. And I also think it's a little bit the hiring freeze stuff is probably a little bit bullshit because nothing has enough employees at this point. So for them to act like, oh, we're doing a hiring freeze. Well, the fucking grocery store by my house still closes at 10 o'clock because there aren't enough employees to run the place 24 hours. And I don't know if that's like a permanent thing, but like there isn't a job.
I feel like it's
there isn't a job out there that's going to, they'll need you. You will eventually have to get a job. And I don't think it's going to be as bleak as you might see it. I again, when you quit a job or lose a job that you actually really like, it starts to feel like you'll never do something you want to do again. But that's not how it plays out most of the time. And I would, if I were you, leave myself open for something better. Don't run out and grab a job as soon as possible. There is a there are fucking when you're talking about politics, there's a presidential election coming up, there's local elections coming up, they cannot not hire forever. You know what I mean? They have to hire people and you will live. I can promise you that like even if it doesn't happen right away, you'll get something. And if you put yourself in a job like if you put yourself in one of these jobs where it's like, okay, well, this is a job that could be my career and I could do this forever. If you put yourself in that job, you will be hesitant to leave if a better thing comes along. I know this because I did that when I was still in the real workforce. I very much did that. I had like the chance to have so many different type, like I was, I think 23 when I started at the cable company. And I basically made the decision that was my job. And then I never looked for another job again. I never looked. So I would be hesitant to even take one if you were planning to take the time off until the LA AEW show. You should
mid-Jan. I was planning to like go through mid-January, but I was thinking, okay, now my choice was like, okay, so maybe I should try to throw myself into some sort of seasonal retail position. Like I've already started taking down the numbers of the places in my area that are hiring for that. But I'm like, I have enough money and more than enough money in my bank account that I can more than get myself through until then, because I'm thinking, okay, should I try to just stockpile money? Because then when January hits, then this recession will hit and everybody's going to stop hiring. And that was my biggest fear. And honestly, this is very reassuring, this discussion we're having. And I thank you for your advice, because I think it's putting me in a much different and a much better state of mind when it comes to these things. Because the last thing I want, I'm probably traumatized from the 2008 recession, because I remember family members are very experienced in what they did that were like waited at like we're taking 6, 8, 9 months to find jobs. And then I think that PTSD is probably just setting in a little bit.
Hello, Grayson. Did I lose you? Jason, I lost Grayson.
Can you still hear me now?
Oh, there he is. I can hear you again.
All right. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you got this, but it's just, I think probably just a little bit of the PTSD from the 2008 recession that came into my mind, because I remember family members who lost jobs, and they would take them, these are people with good experience in their fields, that would take them 6, 8, 9 months to get something, and it was like a fraction of what they were making. But I hope this time around it isn't that bad. But I think I think maybe you're putting me in a much better state of mind, and I think it's a better way to think of it the way you're seeing it than the way that I'm seeing it. So I really appreciate that.
I haven't told the story in a very fucking long time. And I will very quickly. I got this job at the cable company when I was really young. And like I said, I think it was 23. It's 2002. I would have been 23 in 2002. So I get this job at this place, and it's the kind of job that people really want, especially the kind of people I grew up around. It was just like I had two friends that got a job there. They got me hired. I felt so fucking happy to be there. So for 7 years, I worked there, and I will tell you that, like, I would say I was very happy for about 4 of those years. The first 4 years I worked there, I felt so happy and so lucky. And then after that, once we get to the 5 years into this job, I start to like have really bad anxiety. I don't know. I'm getting like a worse and worse attitude. And when I say a worse and worse attitude, like worse attitude to people in my life, like just being nasty to even just the people that I live with and people in my life. And I didn't really know I didn't really know how to, what was going on, but I was extremely fucking miserable, for sure. And, I wanted to leave. When I found out, I had thought, hey, I want to get out of this fucking place. Well, actually, I didn't even know I wanted to leave. I was just like kind of really miserable. So I was like at work one day, and I was up a ladder, and these two guys were sort of talking to me while I was at the top of the ladder. And I didn't like I'm at the top of the ladder, and I get down and I go to check the cable box on the side of the house, not off the ladder. One of them punches me in the face, and then I fall down a flight of steps. Well, one of them punches me in the face. I lean down on my knee on one of the I lean down on my knee on the floor, and they pull a gun. So I jump down this fucking flight of steps. So I broke my wrist on the way as I fell down the steps, and I ended up getting like 6 months off. And I was like, okay. I think like I was like, okay, I think I hate this job. Like I didn't know how much I hated that job and how it was affecting me until I had been off for a year almost, because I had to get surgery and a few other things. And I was just making workman's comp, and I was making my full wage and everything. And I'm like, I don't think I can do, like, I don't like this job. And being away from it for a year showed me that I didn't even want to be in that fucking world. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be away from that. I didn't want to do anything. And it ended up working out for me. Like this is what I do now. But if you had told me before I decided I was going to quit, I 1,000,000,000% would have thought I'm never going to be happy and I'm never going to get a better job than.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, it's those types of situations where you get yourself in the right place and you manage to do something really great with it that you didn't even expect. And that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of place where I'm hoping to put myself into with the time that I have right now. And I think it's just like there's this whole uncertainty and this doubt and this cloud of like what other people are asking you. Like if other people are asking you what you're going to do, things like that. And I'm glad you got the opportunity. Obviously, we're all grateful that you're here and that you have this show. And that's where I wanted to go. And I was doubting myself for a little bit there. I was doubting that I'm making the right decisions and that I shouldn't just try to hoard money. But I think that really puts things into perspective, and helps
I
me
mean,
see a better way forward.
Grayson, let me tell you, if somebody had told me before I got robbed that I was not going to be working at the cable company anymore in 5 years, it would have sent me down a really, really bad tailspin. And I would have been so, and the thing is, that quitting that job was the best thing that happened. On top of like just like I was hurting relationships like in my life. I wouldn't say that I think my wife was going to leave me or anything like that. But like I would say that like I wasn't nice to my friends. I wasn't being the best type of person. And I didn't know that it was like it was the job. I didn't know it was a job. I thought it was a defect in myself where I'm just not nice and I'm not a decent person.
That's exactly what I had happen with a lot of the jobs where I was doing like virtual assistant and digital marketing work. I was coming home like very anxious, very depressed, and everybody around me noticed that there was something wrong with me. Like I was getting picked up sometimes at work by my aunt. She was wondering like what's going on, and it was because that one of my digital marketing jobs was really, really bad. They had like this terribly controlling work environment, super micromanaging, and especially with like a pre-existing mental health diagnosis, you start to doubt, okay, is this me or is this because of the way these people are treating me? And I don't want to go back there again. I don't want to ever have to deal with that situation ever again. And I think you've taken a lot of time out of your show to explain and provide insight. And if you don't mind, one of the things I was hoping to do in this time off was to try to grow my podcast out and see if that goes somewhere. Maybe I don't want to supplant you, but maybe I'll become the next Brian Quimby, and that would obviously that would be nothing short of a miracle. But if I could
deserve
that,
you absolutely deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So my podcast, thankfully, I did release a new episode, and it is on this same topic of inflation and the rhetoric around it and the way that the financial system is being sort of engineered to force people back into those crappy jobs and to reduce their confidence. It's up on the Fixer Punk podcast, FIXERPUNK.com, also on all major platforms. And most of my political insights and stuff like that are on the TikTok, which is at FixerPunk, same spelling. And then Twitter, if Twitter still survives, at Grayson, GREYSON NATION.
All right. Thank you, Grayson.
You so much.
It was good to hear from you. And really, you're going to be okay. I think things will be good.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. You have a great rest.
Oh, hey, look who it is. Psychic Gasoline took 3 weeks paternity leave and didn't tell us he has a baby. So happy having a baby. Hopefully you get some sleep. And listen, I'm taking a month off. I mean, I haven't said which days I'm taking, but and there are going to be, I got to tell you, before we get to the next call, I have to say, so it's like I have, what am I doing here? I got the Brigham Young Money podcast is going to talk about Mormon stuff with me. I'm going to talk to YKS. I'm going to get Truebill. And so that's going to be something that we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about my finances. Everybody's going to finally get to hear my finances for real with Truebill. I'm going to have the YKS guys do the America Carol. And that should be, I think, something that'll be good. That's a Christmas Day show. I have the Dane Cook podcast. And this week, Gutshot starts. Gutshot is a show where me and a guest, this week, Tony Boswell, we will pick out of 4 separate Greg Gutfeld opening segments. And we will listen to the whole thing and goof on it. That's basically what Gutshot is. Gutshot was a thing so that I didn't have to consume anything because I'm doing a lot of work right now up front for my time off. I mean, some of these shows on the time off is just it's something. They're very funny, very fun. A lot of funny people that you really will like, and I've already recorded a few. Also, last week the Basement Show was with Ryan Williams, a stand-up comedian out of Vancouver that's going on tour, and it's Rye Williams Comic on Twitter, and he was great. He's super fun to do the show with, and I hope everybody enjoyed that episode. And I guess what the other plug I'll do here is Gutshot. Then now we're cooking, and then when I get back from vacation in January, I am doing, here's the announcement, TEDcast. Or TED Talks. I haven't figured it out, but what we're going to do is I'm going to get a different person every week to review 1/2 hour of TED and TED 2 by Seth MacFarlane. And we're just going to review that 1/2 hour of the movie. I've never seen TED and or TED 2, really. So I thought it would be very fun if we reviewed TED, but I don't want to. I want to do it in 1/2 hour chunks with people who haven't seen the other the other parts of TED. So TED Talks is what I'm going to call it. JOMSH said. And yeah, TED Talks. It's going to be a TED Talks. I'm going to have a lot of my very funny friends review a 1/2 hour of TED. That's I can hear you, but I changed it. I don't know what to do. Guys, we might fall off here in a minute. I don't know. We got to just wait and see. We just got to wait and see. This stupid fucking app knocks me offline. I hate this app. I hate it. It's Crowdcast. We're doing Zoom from now on. This whole thing has been shit and it fucked me up, and I'm probably not going to release it. If this thing hangs up, well, we're about to find out. I've never had this problem before, so maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen. But 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, it didn't knock me off, so that was pointless. Okay, so let's take another call. Hate this show. Hey, you're talking to Brian. What's up? Who am I talking to?
Greetings, salutations. You're talking to some random stranger on the internet.
Hi, random stranger on the internet. How are you?
Oh, cool. I'm good. Never tuned in before. Just kind of joined you off of trying to find other Twitch streamers who have kind of smaller followers. Just to say, what are you all about? What's going on? What can I learn from this channel that I might not learn elsewhere?
Well, you won't learn anything from. One guarantee I can make is that you will never learn anything from this channel. Well, it's a call-in show. We just take calls from the listeners and talk to them about whatever they want to talk about, their job, whatever. But this isn't like the smallest show, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But the chat's pissed at you for that one.
That's fine. Cool.
No worries. And Mochi in the chat, they want you to know we're communists too, which we are communists too. So that's the best I can give you. I've been doing this thing for like 12 years, and I still haven't figured out how to describe it.
I mean, a couple of years ago, I found myself randomly at the Libertarian Convention in Florida, just because I was a big fan of somebody called Vermin Supreme, who promised free ponies to everybody if he was elected president, and I thought that was kind of cool. Plus, he was pretty big on people brushing their teeth, which I think is kind of important.
I
so
agree. I agree.
kind of vibe with
How
that.
who was there at the libertarian? But I need to hear, like, who did you see at the libertarian convention?
I really can't remember names. I do remember that the most popular person there was running on if you elect me, the first thing I'm going to do is abolish the Constitution, and there will be no federal government.
That's sick.
I thought that
No,
was
I
kind
would
of
have voted for
wild.
that probably just to see what happened, right?
No,
Like,
yeah, but a lot of these people said like, yeah, taxation is theft, and I made the simple comment that hey, I really like driving on roads, and I appreciate when there's no potholes on them. So if you're not going to pay taxes, and if the government can't do anything, and everything is going to be privatized, what happens to roads? Like if I go down the street to a convenience store, do I have to pay tolls on every corner I make a turn on? Like, how does this work in your mind? Like, it was really bizarre and really
so
taught me that, like,
I
these
used to
people don't know what
say,
they're talking about.
this is what I used to say, because I came to this sort of politics from the left. I'm on the left. I came to it from anarchism, though. Like, heard from anarchists in the past, and I said, you know what? I like what they have to say. So when people would ask me, how are we going to have the roads? I would say, well, I'd fix it, or people would fix it. Now, I don't know if I believe that anymore because I'm insane now, but
Right, like, you would fix it for free?
That's what I was thinking at the time, but I'm like at this time of my life, I'm like moneyless. I'm thinking of a moneyless world, where it's like everything's cool, man.
I'm,
You just
I'm
go
right
and
there
you,
with you.
you
I
fix
wish,
the
I
road.
wish merit would mean something. Like, for the goodness of my neighbors, I will provide for them so that they could get what they need. I don't want my neighbors to starve. I don't want anybody to feel suffering. Suffering
I'm with you.
sucks. And if I have the means to provide, then, and beyond my own means, if I could provide beyond my own means, then I should share. Like, I'm so better. I'm like so lucky that I can provide for myself and then have some extra to provide for my neighbors. Then why not, right? But at some
That's
point it
how I
breaks
feel.
down. At some point, you can't do it for everybody, because there are crazy people in the world who will be contrarian just for the sake of being contrarian, and how do you account for that? Like, how do you manage it? I don't know. It's just so complicated, and I'm too dumb to try to
I'm with you.
try to help
Hey,
everybody.
I'm just as dumb. If you feel dumb, I feel extremely dumb. But I do think, like, when I think of like what I consider to be communism, which is extremely sort of a weird thing that I don't know. Like, I'm like I don't understand much, but I did go to college, and I did read Marxist stuff. And like, whenever I think of what a world that would be good for me is that, like, I just somebody and I know this might sound so bad to you, random guy on the internet, but like, somebody just tell me what I need to do, and then I will do it. And then they can like just make sure that I have like all the stuff I want. I want like weed and basically I'm just very much
Man.
like let's make things let's just I've always said that the way that we make people happy and the way that we change things is to try to facilitate the maximum amount of people who are living their sort of fullest potential. Like, that's what we have to like. I think that's the goal of society.
Let me interrupt that. Let me interrupt that sentiment right now. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting your sentiment because one of the best ideas I ever heard was from somebody who's probably not the greatest, Sam Harris, but he said the point of life is to maximize pleasure while minimizing suffering. You know, and it's so basic that kind of boils down to the most basic part of it. Maximize pleasure, minimize suffering. But people are going to have different ideas of what that is, and it just gets really hard to do at a certain point. And you know, I see a lot of people that are talking about communism and stuff like that. And you know, I get a lot of pushback when I try to say, you know, like, well, communism, yeah. Whenever I see it practiced, the people who make the decisions, they aren't practicing communism. The people who make the decisions who ruin communism are practicing capitalism. And so why does communism have to get the worst rap for the people
and
who
also,
are on top?
Also, let me just say this, like,
yeah, go ahead.
Like the way I would think about, like, when people give communism a bad rap, they never sort of think about the fact that, like, the entire world outside of them, outside of, like, China, basically, like, if a South American country goes communist, the entire world basically gets together and tries to make it so they can't be communist. Like that's what and you know, I'm sure I haven't read the like what happened with the Soviet Union because I'm stupid, but like I do know that the United States was doing everything they could to make it so it was impossible not to have for them to be successful. So sure, they made mistakes and they did stuff, but like I think about it like when you're looking for this type of thing, you're looking for something that should be global, and that freaks out the people that make a ton of money, if that makes sense.
Yes. If you can make money, then stop everything else. I live in such an ideal bubble in my own head that I think, like, if communism could be led up to artificial intelligence systems that were taught how to create the most ideal system for the most people, again, going back to that, and oh my God, I know Sam Harris is not like the best person to bring up in this situation. And again, I'm not like riding or dying for Sam Harris. It was just the one idea he brought up that a good life to live is to provide the most pleasure for the most beings and reduce suffering for the most beings. You know, increase pleasure, reduce suffering. That's the basis of it. I'm sorry it came from Sam Harris, but seriously, that's where it came from.
Hey, you know, I think wherever it comes from, I believe a lot of things that I learned from people who were, you know, dinguses. You know, I was a big atheist, so Sam Harris probably grabbed me at some point in my life because I was a big time atheist. I still am an atheist, by the way, to be clear, but I'm not one that yells at people anymore. But yeah, I think so. They said utilitarianism is what he was saying. I call it hedonism. And I think that, again, if you can be fully realized, that's what I think, even with like, that's sort of what got me to, what's the word? That's sort of what got me to communism or anarchism, was that like I was seeing all these people that like wanted to do things. There's like a podcast. I'll tell you this. There's a podcast called the Crackdown Podcast, and it's a show on about people who use heroin and want to be allowed to do that and want to be able to safely purchase it somewhere. And like if that had come up to me, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have said, no, we can't let people do heroin like that. But now I do think we can. If they want to do it and they want it to be safe, that's the fully realized version of a person. And we need to let everybody be fully realized. It's not the best way to live your life, but it isn't fucking my life to live for them anyway, you know?
Yeah, the best take I ever heard on the control of drugs came from some random dude I met at a bar in London when I was doing my rite of passage as an American traveling through Europe, who said like, well, just make all drugs legal, just let people do what they want to do. If you provide a safe place for it, and they don't have to, steal from their employers or steal from their loved ones, and to realize that what they're doing is addictive and kind of ruining their true intentions of living their best life. Just let them, let them.
You fix that.
If you're preventing them, then you're creating a criminal system for them, and you're ruining their life more so than they would be doing on their own volition. Like, let them have the freedom to do that kind of stuff. Also, when you mentioned atheism, let me just mention that I am a full-fledged card-carrying member of the Pastafarian religion of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Thank you very much, Ramen.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. But here's what I'm going to do. Listen to the show again. Listen to another night and come back and give us a call. If you hate me, that's totally okay. It's just a podcast, a comedy podcast. But you're the best random person who has ever called the show. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, I will be following. I'll subscribe if I can. But yeah, you're hearted, you're followed, you're notified on my channel as far as I can do. And I've really enjoyed your commentary. I'm enjoying other people's commentary. And this has been a good experience. Cheers.
All right. Thanks. Look at that. I've never had a random caller call in that didn't like use the N word. So that was something. Truly something. Let's take another call here. Let's take another call. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who am I talking to?
This is Shelly. This is Murder Brian. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I'm really stoned right now. How are you?
I'm great. How are
hey,
you,
let's
Shelly?
reset that. This is Shelly. So I called to talk about Mancow, but real quick to Grayson. Yeah, right. Laser 1033. To Grayson, you'll be okay, hon. Like, you'll be okay. I was like in like the 40-hour, 9-to-5 work life forever. And just 2 years ago, I got out of it, and I've just gotten to a place where I feel okay and not like full of anxiety all the time about not having like a traditional job. So, but yeah, you'll be fine, hon. Don't worry.
Well,
But,
Shelly, let me say, like, it does take a long time for people to think like I'm not a loser because I don't work 40 hours a week. Is the way I think of it, like, where it's like, when I first quit the cable company, I immediately went to college for 5 years, and that was something. But like when I got out, like the whole time I was there, I was like sitting around like having these like real existential fucking crises, thinking like, oh, well, my wife probably wants to leave me because I'm a fucking loser that isn't going to work. My in-laws probably think I'm a fucking loser. My parents probably think I'm a loser, and it's just because I wasn't doing this thing that I stuck around doing, which I think is like, I think the best advice you can give somebody that's young, and Grayson is young, I think you tell them like, there's a long ways to go. And like, you're not going to lose your job. You're not going to not ever be able to get another job. I guess and it doesn't, the next job you get doesn't have to be bad. And Grayson's in California. Don't they got that good unemployment there anyway? So
oh, totally milk that shit as long as you can. I milked that completely dry until it was gone. And even if it's a bad job, whatever, like, you'll be fine. You'll eventually figure it out, But yeah, man.
So you're a Mancow head.
Mancow was. Oh fuck yeah, Mancow was the shit in Des Moines. Like he was like our taste of like, you know, big city life. He was like our shock jock, you know. He was our little taste of Chicago. Yeah, like if you were
I mean, that,
dirtbag
you know
in the
what
late
though?
90s.
You know what though? It's really sad what they did to you in Des Moines in a way, and all these other places that ended up with Mancow because they thought you couldn't handle Howard Stern. And
That's
that
probably right.
is that's something that they didn't think you could do. So
I mean, yeah,
that's something that
but
I
they
thought I would
fucking gave us
say is
Mancow.
like they thought you couldn't handle Howard Stern, so they gave you Mancow. And Mancow's the craziest person in the world.
Oh God, yeah, like Shocktober, like when you start the Mancow stuff, like that blew my mind because that was dormant for years. I had no one to talk to about this wild shit that I was obsessed with for like 8 years because, you know, it was just like a dirtbag in the middle of Iowa, and it's just kind of what you had to do. It's just
I
part of,
mean,
like,
if you're
working
going to
class
work
life.
though, you know, was it just you're at work and it's like they're playing Mancow, or were you like, I gotta motherfucking
I was
get in
like
that man,
10.
I gotta
I was
listen
like
to
10.
Mancow.
No. So like he was like really hot, like it was like the late 90s, and I was like preteen. And so my stepdad listened to Bob and Tom, and I fucking hated that shit. So like I chose Mancow because Mancow was cool, you know, like fuck that old man shit. Give me Mancow. So yeah, I don't know, I was just being
Can
like,
I ask you this? Can I ask you this, Shelly?
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
like at least a little bit change your mind on Bob and Tom in that like I don't think they're cornballs. I'm not saying they're cornballs, but they aren't like they're not like light workplace safe comedy, right?
Oh, totally. No. Like my stepdad was like just, you know, horrible, you know, racist piece of white trash shit. And like, he loved that. Like he like totally popped over like, you know, just the dumb, you know, like just full on, you know, racist, misogynist stuff. Like the toast thing, like you fucking played that and that like blew, I hadn't thought about that in like 25 years. And like, he would like sing that. It was like a little thing between him and I, like the toast shit.
No.
Like but that shit was like
I do it now. So
It
it's
was
funny.
nasty.
I started craving toast this week now. Listen, I don't know if that's Bob and Tom's fault. I don't know, but I told my wife, I was like, I need to get bread so I can make toast. Now, every fucking time I go to make toast, I'm in the kitchen like, yeah, toast. Yeah, toast. Now it's like annoyed me.
That
like
song's
it's kind of
cool.
like the tuna fish song. It like really got me.
Way better than tuna fish song though. Like the toast song at least is like has a structure to it. It's at least like a realized thing. Like
A lot of people disagree with you on that, Shelly. I'm going to tell you. I did a poll, and the tuna fish song. At this point, people have decided they kind of like the tuna fish song. So
I mean, tuna fish goes too. It goes too, but you know, tuna and toast. You know.
It's funny though that like you kind of had the same what's the trajectory as me at the same time, because like I was really into Howard Stern at exactly the time you're talking about, because he was the one that was on here from the big city. I mean, Bob and Tom was here, but there was no way I was listening to something called Bob and Tom, and like Howard Stern's like this huge celebrity at the time. So it just felt like what I wanted to hear. And like my dad liked Bob and Tom, and he hated that I liked Stern. But like I like picked him up in the middle of the country just because I picked him up because he was here. If Mancow had been here, which kind of sort of a shock, because there's not a ton of a difference between Illinois and Columbus. You know, Columbus is a little bigger than Des Moines. I will say that. But Columbus actually like way bigger than Des Moines. I have been to Des Moines. I performed there. But I think Des Moines could have handled Stern. I think they didn't need to have the Mancow, which was the bad stern.
Yeah, but like Des Moines is just like the bad version of everything. So I like really, it all fit, it all made sense in like that culture of shithead Des Moines. Like
I mean,
Slipknot and
I
shit,
would
like,
say
it just made
Des
sense.
Moines is the smallest city I've ever been to in my life, and I've been to a decent amount of them, and it's so wild that
Mhm.
how small it was. I had never seen a city that small in my life. When we got there, I was like, I'm going to take a walk, and there wasn't enough like space for me to walk.
Yeah. I grew up like 15 minutes outside of Des Moines, and by like this time, like I moved away like as fast as I could.
think you
But
have
like my
to.
mom still lives there,
I think you have
and she
to.
says like, yeah, like it's all just like, suburbs now. It's just like greatly expanded. Everything has. So
Yeah. I mean, I
really
liked
plans on
Iowa.
ever
I
going
liked
back.
the people in Iowa, but I didn't like. I was not. I when I was in Des Moines, I like just I couldn't believe it that like what I was seeing because I liked Fong's. Is it called Fong's? The pizza place
PS,
with Chinese
yeah,
food on the
the place
pizza.
where, like the helmet, you get to wear like the Air Force helmet or whatever. You get drunk and do shots and wear the helmet.
Yeah, that place is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And the
we're talking
venue we played was pretty sick too. Actually, it's like a big famous
Vaudeville
one
Muse.
there.
Yeah, it's probably the Vaudeville. That was like right by the pizza place.
Yeah, because I was like,
was
I'm not. What? It's
legit.
the vaudeville you called it.
The Vaudeville Muse. That's like that
That's
was
it.
like
I didn't
the
want to
venue.
perform.
Yeah.
I didn't want to perform there because it was called vaudeville, and I have this like really fucking nasty association with vaudeville that I like just hate it. I don't know why. I just don't like old comedy. Like old style
Totally.
comedy. I can't stand it. So I heard vaudeville Muse, and I was like, ew, vaudeville. Like what? Corny jokes? Is that what we're talking about? But that place was cool as fuck.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, very formative.
Oh,
It was a very formative place.
quick
in my
argument.
years there.
Quick
so.
argument in the chat room between Scarab Feast and Zach H. The tuna fish song, as far as I can tell, is about tuna fish. If I can help a little bit, I've listened to him do the tuna fish song like 4 times in 4 different situations, and he was literally talking about tuna fish. If he wanted to sing about pussy, he would definitely find a way to sing about it. But it's 100% about tuna fish. I'll tell you that.
I'm still. I could totally feel him trying to pull some like being subversive like kind of bullshit. Like that seems like dumb guy subversive stuff.
But he's a dude. He makes up his own language and brands it. So like if it was pussy, I think we would know that he has a word for pussy because he has a word for anal sex. He has a word for like we know his word for anal sex. We know his word for regular sex. We know we know all blowjobs. We know snarlings is the blowjob word and all that stuff. Like we know that. So if he had that, I think it would definitely be he would let us know that it wasn't just tuna fish. What I'll explain to people is he sings about tuna fish because tuna fish has protein. And part of his character that I have failed to get people, part of his character that I failed to get people to understand, which is probably which might be on me, is that like he is like a guy that lifts weights and is really tough. And it's that kind of thing. So he's saying tuna fish in regards to lifting weights. It's I'm gonna lift weights, I'm gonna get protein, and that's just what I think. So
he's the
it is
wheelbarrow.
definitely the
He's
song
the
is about
wheelbarrow
tuna
guy,
fish,
right?
I promise.
Yeah, I mean, if you may have just sold me there. because he's the wheelbarrow guy, right? Like he was like, obsessed
Wheelbarrows,
with
yes.
those two, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Wheelbarrows
like,
are
he's just very, like,
manly. Wheelbarrows are a manly thing. Well, why are wheelbarrows manly? I don't know. They just are. If
Yeah,
there
he's
was a
just very
men's
obsessed with,
convention,
like-
it would be about wheelbarrow.
Hell yeah. No, it fucking would be. Yeah, he's very obsessed with like performing masculinity, and he's very spot on with what like dudes think performing masculinity is. So like, yeah, tuna and like bodybuilding, like they get very obsessive very quickly. So you may have told me on that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on one sec. I can hear you if you want to talk, but if I don't pee, I'm gonna pee in my pants. So if
Oh,
you
go
want to
pee,
hang
yeah.
up, you
Hell
can,
yeah, go
and I
pee.
can take this last caller, or I'll be right back.
No, I'll hang around while you pee. It'll be fun. Let's do it.
Holy moly, that took for fucking ever. All right, I am back.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Top 5 bodily fluid functions.
Yeah, I was crying, like I had tears in my eyes, and I was just kind of sitting here, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna die. I'm either gonna cry, or but yeah,
Murder
I
Brian, don't fucking wait until you're crying to piss. Go piss.
no, but yeah, sometimes you gotta
Totally,
you'll
totally.
feel like you're gonna cry. And also Zach H said piss hole, it's a toilet. I'm next to the toilet, so I did not piss in the fucking piss hole. It's the room right next to mine. Did you guys see my Peter Steele blanket is back behind me where he's holding this fucking hog? I kind of displayed it, and I displayed the very first Street Fight t-shirt right behind me. The everybody hits Street Fight Chapo shirt that like I more and more think maybe I could sell. But what are you gonna do? No, Canakim, I didn't piss in the piss hole. But yeah, I think like Mancow to me, I guess like if you were listening to him, here's what I probably would think. I'm just guessing for you. Is that like you were listening to this and you were listening to this. Oh God, now everybody wants me to play the tuna fish song. If you were listening to this, Mancow, then you were there to listen to Mancow. So the things that he does that drives me fucking crazy wouldn't happen if you were it definitely wouldn't happen if you were like listening to him because you want to hear him. So that's just one thing. So hold on, they want to see the hog. Shelly, I can hear you. I'm going to show them the hog real quick.
Show him the hog, Bri. Show him the hog. Do your thing. Make your money.
I think I got it. Not my hog, Shelly. Come on.
I mean, anyway, you make your money. Whatever.
They would hate to see my hog. They would hate to see it.
Oh,
so
you would
I mean,
be surprised,
I think
Brian.
they saw it. I'm checking now. I'm watching it. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, they got to see the hog. They got hog. There it is. It's right there in the screen. So that is Peter Steele's hog. It's from an actual picture, and you got to see my ass crack. That was like, wow. Oh, come on. I've never taken my shirt off in the chat. Oh, wait, I did that one time. Yeah. Well, that was a different thing.
Yeah, Smooth Boy,
you know?
the Smooth Boy thing, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I could see it. Like the thing that frustrates me about Mancow is the absolute constant like cutting people off and not letting anybody talk. So like you're listening to this thing and you're just like, man, does this fucking guy like, I mean, nobody gets to talk. And you know what? I can give you a little bit of information here, Shelly. He now, I don't know if you listen to him now. You probably don't.
Just what you
but
feed to me through Shocktober.
Just for Shocktober. So he has never he said that he wrote scripts for all those radio shows. So every single show he did was scripted from top to bottom. And he wrote it every day. He got up at 2:30 in the morning, wrote the show, and then moved on. Cause I 100% like looked at that. You know, I was going to play the audio, but I didn't think anybody would care. But I think somebody that listens would know that like he's lying, which is kind of what he does.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
he's just very high.
Yeah. Did you, okay, let me ask you another question now. Did you believe the, what's the word? Did you believe like some of the things he was doing, like saying he was doing? Like, I don't know, the famous Madhouse clips I've heard is Turd driving into the side of a building. And the other famous Madhouse clip I've heard is what the fuck was it? There's like another oh yeah, they're killing baby birds on the street, like smashing them with a hammer. Did you believe any of that was happening?
I was like at that perfect fucking age where like I was like 11, 12, or like I was like right in that great, you know, that sweet spot where like I probably was like, yeah, this shit can't be real. He didn't drive into a fucking building. But there was that part of me that was like, oh, this is awesome. This is compelling. I'm going to believe this. I'm going to buy into this reality, you know.
Well, I would never I don't think that at this point I would make fun of somebody that thought it was real, because I don't generally like, I like pro wrestling. So like if I started making fun of people that thought it was real, but I also kind of felt like if you really thought it was real, that's sad.
Oh, like totally. Like I was.
What you said makes sense, right? Like what you said is I'm going to buy into this and believe that it's happening. So that sort of makes sense on the same level that pro wrestling makes sense for me. It's like I get it because I buy in and just believe what they're throwing out there for fun. So like, I think if somebody actually believed Turd drove his car on the side of that building, that would be kind of sad. Like an adult, like construction worker thinking that.
They totally did though. Like I was totally around like dudes like that, that like, they probably did believe that shit. But yeah, I was gonna say like with wrestling, like I'm a fucking wrestling nerd, always have been, sadly always will be. But yeah, like also with like Mancow, like I was at the sweet spot of like, I know this isn't real, but I still want to like believe it is, you know, and I can kind of still allow myself easily to believe it.
This.
Yeah.
Kelly, I've talked about that with wrestling in the past because like I was like 18 during the Attitude Era, and I was like, man, like I know, like I've heard this is fake when it comes to wrestling. It's like I've heard this is fake. So but I don't see how it's fake. Like how, and so like they would do something like you see a person fall off a ladder or like a cage or something like that. And you're like, well, that's real. For sure. Oh, look, Big
God.
Hal's in here. Big Hal Dottie's in here. Big Hal toot, sup, Brian. Hi, Big Hal Dottie. But yeah, I believed it. I couldn't figure out where the separation had with pro wrestling because and it's the same thing I think I would probably be with Mancow. I mean, you know, I don't think Howard Stern ever faked stuff, but he could have, and I would have never known, you know, or Opie and Anthony, did they fake stuff? Yeah, in the 90s they faked stuff, but after a while they just they started doing it. And that's kind of that's kind of how I think I would look at Mancow too at that time. Like, well, you know, why would he fake driving into the side of a building? Which I honestly still asking myself why he would fake the turd driving in the side of a building. Because it's like,
Yeah,
it
right, that's what
sounds
makes
so
it so
fake.
fucking
What's the
compelling.
point? What?
Yeah. That's what makes it still so fucking compelling. Like, why did this dipshit in Chicago like think this was like a fucking
Funny.
good idea?
Why did he think it was funny or good? Like, that kind of shit is crazy to me. You know, it's even like when
Yeah.
you look at like to a lesser extent, when you're on Twitter now and you see Elon Musk, and it's like there are people who are going to buy into his shit no matter what. It isn't going to be anything. And you know, it's funny. I was talking to my brother, and he was saying he thinks Elon's going to get out of it, but I just think he's not paying attention. He doesn't know how poisonous Twitter is. Like that, a regular person wouldn't have bought it. But yeah, I think like I think like wanting to buy into something and then doing it is fucking really cool. But like the guys that are like Mancow doing some of the bits was just like the one I listened to where he was killing baby birds was just like, why would you do this? Like, I don't get
Yeah, it's
no.
so vicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mean. It sounds bad, but you know, they were all fucking running fast. So well, Shelly, I want to thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Totally.
And I got to get this
Yeah.
last call here.
Totally. R.I.P. Cowboy Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. All right. Let's get this last call on here. We'll talk to him. We'll see what happens. I feel like a new man after I took that enormous piss. Hey, who am I talking to? Hey.
Hey, this is Jess.
What's up, Jess? How are
Yeah,
you?
so I called. I'm doing good. I'm trying not to ask you how you are because I know when you do a call-in show, that's not great. But yeah, I'm doing good. But I called in to talk about. I called in a while ago. I think it was a call-in show before Brett left, maybe. And I was the one. I'm a therapist, and I was talking about this like therapy company trying to be radical.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And yeah, so I've been working there, and basically I went on for like months without getting paid because of their like employee contract. So I worked there since like July, and I had to like hire people to supervise. And you're doing all these interviews and going to like 2 meetings a week and just getting nothing for months. And
how did
so
they like? Were
basically-
they like, I promise you're gonna get it? Like, I'm gonna make it right?
it's basically we only get paid for supervising people. But like they're telling us the meetings are mandatory. So it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like not legal, but a lot of the mental health companies do stuff like this.
It's very funny that I just said it can't be, as though like I would know.
I know.
But
It's so common.
I mean,
well, it's so crazy. It's so common. It's so common, and it's crazy to me.
yeah, you're an independent contractor.
I'm literally a W-2 employee. That's why I'm like,
Okay,
but it's so weird. But anyway, my field's crazy. So basically, I got in there and I like went to my first meeting, and the first meeting, they're like the founder is like, I don't know if I said this last time, but like, yeah, like everyone's really mad. They like got some kind of software to collect data to like do a better job, but it's like, it's a tech company, it's a startup. So it's like, usually when they're collecting data, it's like not for a good thing. It's not for like their customers. And so they're like, everyone's mad at us. And yeah, they're like really mad at us in these meetings, and they're saying like health insurance companies are evil. And, you know, I've been a therapist, and that's, you know, I don't like insurance companies, but, you know, you got to work within the system. And I was like, oh no. And there was a bunch of meetings where the founders and the management were like, you know, if you do hold those values about insurance companies and this stuff, then maybe you should find a new place to work. And it's like repeatedly saying this. And so I was like, this is not, I haven't even hired any employees yet, and this is not good. So
yeah, they wanted you. I mean,
fast forward.
I get what they were like. You know, maybe what they always do is like, maybe you're not passionate about this line of work. It's like, fuck you, man.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm only like in debt up to my eyeballs from fucking grad school and, you know, all this other shit. I'm not passionate. Sure.
Yeah. And then so like, and they're not paying you at like all, right? Like it's not even like I don't know, like there's no pay at all for periods of time.
Only until you hire somebody. So you're only getting paid for like the hour of supervision you do with somebody each week. Cause like they're billing under your license. So if you're a supervisor, you'll supervise people who don't have their full like social work license or their full like mental health counselor license. And basically they can't bill insurance companies, and they can't work independently out of pocket. So they need us for them to bill under our license. And so without us, they don't have anything. And they're also not paying all these supervisors. And there's people who like, they want you to hire 5 people. And so I know somebody, they interviewed 50 people unpaid. And it goes on for months. Anyway. So recently they keep like escalating things in meetings. And I started calling people in an effort to kind of start thinking about unionizing. Because I said, if I ever go back and work for a company, that's what I'll do. So I started calling people, and the sentiment is the same all around, just kind of doing some like salting stuff. And so there's a bunch of supervisors that seem like they're like sympathetic. I started like a spreadsheet of like everyone in the company and like calling one by one, trying to get their outside contact information and like see what their attitude is. But anyway, they scheduled this dinner because of like, they gave us this like infantile speech about supply and demand, about like because of the economy. And basically what they're telling us is like, we're about to like screw you over. And they're also trying to pit us against the therapists that we're supervising. So they scheduled this meeting at this fancy hotel right next to Central Park. And I've only ever worked in like shitholes, so it was bizarre to me. So I go to this dinner, and I'm telling you, this must have cost a fortune. There was like a buffet, open bar. There's like 30 of us in there, big, long, table, huge. And I like kind of knew some shit was going to go down. I just kind of figured I'll meet some people in person because it's all virtual, and I'll like kind of see where they're at and just put my face out there. But like, I have a really good sense of when things are about to get really fucked up, and I start like recording. That's exactly what happened. And so we're at this fancy dinner, and they have us all introduce ourselves, and then they start getting down to like brass tacks, and they start like really shit talking the therapist. And one thing you can't do if you're any type of mental health professional is you can't like psychoanalyze somebody that isn't your client. Like it's very frowned upon. And so the therapist has been asking for more money, and they've also been talking about how like they don't like the way they're treated and some other things in the company, all valid concerns. And then one of the founders, so the two founders are like married, and she goes, yeah, like it's very clear that like the real problem is they think of me as their mom and they think of my husband as their dad. Which is like like a really like a wild thing to say. Like you're trying to do some like faux like therapist stuff, but it's like such a crazy thing to say.
Are they therapists,
and it just
or are they just running the business?
Just the one who said that, and even then it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They're walking. I'm telling you right now, they are walking around.
Yeah.
If they're married, they are 1,000% like talking about this at home. You know what I mean? Like they're having that sort of conversation where it's like they think we're their fucking parents. Can you believe it? We got to do something about this.
And like one of them is like a multi-million. These are like multi-millionaires, like just straight up. It's like an ex like investment finance person who's married in the part of the relationship. And so my eyebrows go up, and I'm also recording it on my phone as they're saying it. And I'm also I'm openly taking notes at this fancy dinner with a cheap notebook I bought at a corner store. So, and they're kind of looking at me like I'm the only one in this fancy hotel, just aggressively writing as fast as I can.
I'm surprised, like that. Like I wonder. Like it seems pretty weird to think about, but it is like you can't be in their position at this point and not think people might record you at a meeting. So maybe don't say anything crazy at the meeting.
Gets worse.
You know?
Yeah. And that to me, I was like, whoa. And then she like bitched. She was just like, yeah, like I tried to like give them one of my clients who was leaving, and they said that they couldn't fit them into their schedule. And it's just like personal grievance. So then she kicks it off, and then like there's a few like real shitty supervisors in there. So one of them says, yeah, it's like just Gen Z, they're so entitled, and like just starts, and these are all therapists, so it's like it's real. When you get into this political area, you really see how crazy therapists are. And then
I mean,
another one speaks up and said, this was wild, goes, well, you know, a lot of them are in their 20s and 30s, and you know their brains aren't fully developed.
That's not true.
And
I mean,
you're
thinking 15,
a psychologist.
16.
You are a psychologist. And it was also like I was sitting there with my just aggressively writing this down as fast as I can. And so now I'm pretty sure I'm gonna show it to all the employees. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
What I truly can't imagine why any of these people do that. I guess they're delusional, and they think they're the good guy. If that, I think, is what I'm getting.
They literally shared their dream about how their startup is going to revolutionize mental health care.
Yeah, so there's no world in which they would ever see themselves as bad guys, I guess would be my
No.
would be my guess. Like they you know, they already think they're doing they already think they're doing all the right things. The only real thing they're probably doing is voting for Democrats, would be my guess.
Oh, well, yeah. But Brian, you got to give them credit, because recently, so not only do they take up to 60 or 50% of everyone's fees that they take in, you know, if you don't have clients, and that's one of the main problems, is no one's getting clients, and they're telling people that they have to treat this as a full-time job, even though they're not being paid unless they have clients. They recently
are those people employees or contractors?
They I can't remember all, but this part will really make you question the situation. Because I know they're different than our contract as supervisors. So basically, they said, we're going to do minimum pay because we know that you guys really need it. And they have like a non-compete clause in their contract, so they can't like go work other places in some ways. So we're going to pay you all $1,300 a month. And if you do the math, if they're supposed to treat it like a full-time job, that's fucking $8 an hour. And we live in fucking New York. And it's 14.
Yeah, no.
So it's just like, you are literally sitting in a room talking about how they're like sub-mental and like, and like completely in their subconscious, like thinking their bosses are their mom and dad, and you're literally paying them half of minimum wage.
That's fucking crazy. Like, the $1,300 a month. That like are there a lot of employees there, or is it a pretty
there's
big
at least
place?
200. There's at least 200. No, 200.
Oh, he can afford to pay everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like I wasn't going to stick up for him
it's
or
a startup,
anything,
so they have
but I
access
think
to
they could afford to pay
cash,
everybody
so.
more than that.
Oh yeah. I spoke up at one point and I slipped in the Adam Curtis quote. Like, do you really want to change? And it was not received well.
No,
but yeah, that's really everything.
I
just wanted to share an update.
I think these people, they have pure contempt for the people that work for them, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't even give a shit about that. Don't give a shit. They truly hate the people that work for them. They see them as like a nest. Like, it's that thing where I've always said about, well, I think everybody said it, is employment is employees are a necessary evil for these people. Like, that's the last thing they want to be paying for. So
yeah.
Well, that is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, but all I know is like the question I always ask people is, in lieu of having universal health care where people are paid appropriately, like, if you feel like you're going to kill yourself, how much do you want to pay somebody? Like if they're going to take like a surgeon, how much do you want to pay your heart? Like, do you want your surgeon to come in making 40 grand? They're stressed out. Their car gets repossessed on their way to the OR. Like, is that what we want in society? Like,
And a lot of times by the time
like
people get into therapy, they're sort of at the end of their rope. I know exactly. I was before I got in. I was like, if something doesn't happen, I'm gonna fucking go nuts.
Same. And a lot of the therapists that are in the field, some of them have never been in before. So, especially the new ones, they've never had a job where they can afford it. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share that. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling. Call back again sometime.
Yeah. Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, everybody. We did a show. We tried as hard as we could to do a fun show. We got the random caller guy. And next week, I don't think we're going to have problems anymore because we are switching the app we use. And again, listen to Gut Shot this Friday and my basement show this Thursday. Have a good night.